Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel for another live stream. And in today's one, I will be going through the draw and the format for the 2022 World Grand Prix of Darts. Now, I haven't done much darts content in a long time, but I did, or I wanted to bring this back to the channel for the foreseeable future. There will be watch-alongs for the World Grand Prix, so the darts watch-alongs will return from the 3rd of October, I believe it is, until the 9th. So before we get into it, smash that red subscribe button, hit the like button as well. That'll be absolutely massively appreciated. I do obviously appreciate your support as always on the channel. It really does help the channel grow and allow us to, visit new people's news feed. Before we get into the predictions and the draw and the nitty-gritty of the 2022 World Grand Prix, we'll go through obviously the format and stuff like that. The prize money has now been totaled to £600,000 across the entire tournament, which is an unbelievable sort of prize fund for this competition. And, you can just see the PDC calendar getting a lot more expensive in terms of the tournaments across the calendar year, which means, players need to perform in these big tournaments now. It's not just can you perform on the Pro Tour, it's now you need to perform on the TV tournaments, and that 600 grand is a lot of money. And Dirk van Duijvenbode is defending a final. Dave Chisnell is defending a semi-final. So there's a lot of big prize money being defended in this tournament. Can certain players defend it? I'm not too sure. I'm just going to run a quick poll in terms of what we're thinking in terms of the actual winner. So I'm going to put, obviously, the obvious three down, and then I'll put other. But if you do vote anyone apart from these three, then please do make sure to let me know which one you've selected, because it'd be interesting to know what you guys are saying in the chat. Chris, if you do want to jump on, mate, I will get you on. If you do want to pop on, I will drop the link in the chat. Obviously, I'll only get Chris on. So, Grand Prix winner, Gerwin Price, Mark Van Gerwen, Peter Wright, or other. So let me know which way you think it's going to go. Anyway, back to what I was on about. I will read a few comments in a minute. So £7.5 grand for a first round loser. So basically just for being in the first round. 15 grand, so you get an extra 7.5 grand for getting into the second round, which is crazy. 25 grand for a quarterfinal, 40 grand for a semi-final, which is what, I think Chisnell is actually defending 26, I think, maybe from this. So 40 grand semi-final, 60 grand for the runner-up, and a massive £120,000 for the winner of the Boyle Sports Grand Prix of Darts. In terms of the format, all matches will be played as double in, double out, which gives this tournament the unique feel. Double in, double out, requiring, we know that, beginning with as well, finishing on either end, bullseye. Matches will be played to set format, with each set being the best of 5 legs, first to 3. This is the only double-in tournament on the PDC circuit, and along with the World Championship, the only tournament which uses the set format. The matches get longer as the tournament progresses. Excuse me. So first round, best of 3 sets, first to 2, obviously. Second round and quarterfinal, best of 5 sets, first to 3. Semi-final is the best of 7, first to 4. And then the World Grand Prix final is best of 9 sets and first to 5. I'll get you in, Chris, when I'm doing the predictions. So whilst I'm just going through the format and how the tournament will work, I'll just do this by myself, just because this is just information, isn't it? So I'll do this by myself, and then the rest will get you in. Qualification. So the players that are in the tournament then. So from the top 16 in the world, Gerwyn Price, Peter Wright, Michael Van Gerwen, Michael Smith, James Wade, Jose de Souza, Johnny Clayton, Rob Cross, Gary Anderson, Danny Noppert, Luke Humphreys, Joe Cullen, Dirk van Dijvenbode, Dave Chisnell, Dimitri van den Berg, and Nathan Aspinall. And then on the Pro Tour Order of Merit, Damon Heta, Ryan Searle, Martin Schindler, Christoph Ratajski, Andrew Gilding, Chris Dobie, Gabriel Clemens, Daryl Gurney, Adrian Lewis, Madas Rasma, Stephen Bunting, Kim Ibrex, Martin Lukman, Callan Ridds, Brendan Dolan, and Ross Smith. So 16 best players in the PDC Order of Merit rankings, and then the 16 best players from the Pro Tour Order of Merit throughout the year. Let's just go through a few comments. I've got a terrible cough, which is annoying. Good evening, Mike and everyone. Come on, afternoon. Come on, Aspinall and de Souza. First major since July, feels like ages. Yeah, I hate August, September, because that's when you've got all the World Series and the non-ranked stuff. It's boring. Yeah, send the link. Oh, come on. Thomas is going for Dirk van Dijvenbode, which is, obviously, he did reach the final of this 2 years ago, but I don't know as if Dirk could go on and win it again or go to a final again. I just don't think... I don't know. I don't think Dirk has it in him. Right, I will put the link in the chat. This is only for Chris Welch to join, so if someone else does join, we won't be getting you on, only because I can't really go onto Twitter for to send it to him individually. So we'll get Chris on. Like I said, do get your predictions in about who you think will win the Boyle Sports 2022 World Grand Prix. Like I said, I will be doing watch-alongs for it. We will be bringing the watch-alongs back to the channel. So hopefully, providing I'm available, should be able to do nearly every session. So potentially nearly every session of the Grand Prix in terms of the watch-alongs. So they do return. I know a lot of people have been asking for the watch-alongs in recent times. Just have a quick look at the vote at the moment. 29% say Gerwyn Price, 29% Michael Van Gerwen, 43% say other. Welcome to the chat, Erdy. I think that's how you say your name. Let me know if I've said it wrong, of course. He says Luke Humphreys. Thomas says, when does it start? It starts the 3rd of October. The 3rd of October, the tournament starts. So we are, what's the date today? Is it the 26th? So, well, it's a week today, isn't it? A week today. A week today of the World Grand Prix, because the World Grand Prix is next Monday, which, is absolutely flown. Well, it's not flown by, but nearly, roughly. We're going to welcome in Chris Welch. Obviously, you're going live on your channel tomorrow for your predictions on this, but don't call anything into the jokes. We'll get to that in a minute. But how are you doing? And there's some tasty ties which we're going to discuss in a minute.
Yeah, I'm fantastic as always. I love seeing people get rattled by my opinions, but okay.
It is what it is. That's always going to happen.
It is what it is. Even though certain professional bots would rather watch my channel than focus on himself. Thanks for the food, mate. Thanks for the food. But yeah, thanks for getting me on, as always.
You're very welcome. In terms of, away from the draw, because we haven't even gone into that yet, increased prize money. Obviously, it's great for the PDC to have a lot of these events, have their prize money increased But now it's going to make players, who've done certain things in the Grand Prix 2 years ago 10 times harder because they've increased it. And what would have been a quarter-final may now need to be a final in terms of the prize money because of the difference. So you do feel a bit, they've gone into this tournament defending something that they just can't defend from 2 years ago because of the difference in prize gap. But it is what it is. And double start, double in, double out.
I love it. I love it personally.
Is that something you like? Because you could have someone sat on 480 and someone could be on tops. So it's absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love double in, double out. But would you change anything about the Grand Prix before we get into this year's Grand Prix?
Just defend you. Like it's not in Dublin, is it? It's in Yetzer.
Yeah.
I'm not being disrespectful to Yetzer, by the way, before people start throwing at us. Because it was normally held in Dublin, wasn't it? But it hasn't been in Dublin for like 3 years now. 3 years in a row.
Yeah, because it used to be called double in, double out, double in, double out, wasn't it? And that was the little tagline for it. Obviously, Dublin, capital of Ireland. But yeah, in terms of the votes, it's up to 30% for Gu and Price now, 30% other, 20% for Van Gogh and Peter Wright. So it's
typical Welsh fans, man.
That other could be Johnny Clayton as well. So yeah, right. Let's get straight into it. So as you can see by the format, there is well, I'm not going to click on it because it'll say who's in the format. But the tournament does start on the 9th of October, Monday the 9th, with an evening session. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with the Sunday final. Right. I'll tell you what, there are some absolute crackers in here. So let's get into it then. The top half of the draw, I'll tell you what, we'll do it in like different segments. So top half of the top section, Gerwin Price versus Martin Schindler. Which way do you see that one going?
Tough test then for Price. I'm sure he got in the World Master first round as well.
Yeah, Annie had him in the Grand Slam group last year as well.
Yeah, so Gerwin Price is going to be sick of playing him. Well, to be fair, he's beaten him. He's beaten him twice, so he won't be sick of him, to be fair, if he gets to win over him.
Yeah.
But he got beaten in the World Master Gerwin Price. And we know what happened. For the rest of that tournament, he went on to reach the final, which is still the tournament won by him. I think that then, like I said, the first round games, Phil Taylor said it, they are dangerous games, the first round. Van Durm got knocked out last year in the first round by Danny Noppert. Or was it the year before?
Yeah,
it was the year before. But for me, Gerwin Price is in good form as well. He's in good form from the recent Pro Tours and European Tours as well.
And the World Series won that.
And he's in a burst move. This is what I love to see. Because that's what you want to see. You want him to say that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Have no respect for others. Or about yourself. But yeah, I think Gerwin Price suits this format and he suits this tournament as well. He's had joy in the past, and I think it'd be a tough test for him. But I think Price should get over the line in this one for me.
Yeah, agree. When you come off the back of the form that he's in, Schindler has been, Schindler's not had many Pro Tours or European Tours to really grow himself into form. So yeah, I'd say Price in that one. The winner will play what probably again we're probably going to say this about 10 times, a potential tie of the round. The Rockstar Joe Cullen against the Heat Damon Hatter.
And then both of them met in the first round of the World Master.
Yeah.
And Damon Hatter did a job on him, didn't he? Did a job on Joe Cullen. Well, Joe Cullen didn't turn up, to be fair. And I think if both of them do turn off, then for me, I think it will be tie of the round.
Yeah.
If both of them turn off. But in the World Master, it was only one of them that turned off, and that was obviously Damon Hatter. Oh, this is tough, actually. This is a tough one. Damon Hetter's done be everyone's massive outsider. Everyone's done door for him as an outsider because he's number one in terms of Pro Tour order and merit. I know he's always going to be number one in terms of outsiders as well, who people door for. Then I'm done door for repeat from the World Master. I'm not obviously not as in storyline, but I think it'll be the same winner. I'm done for Damon Hatter to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I think Joe Cullen has had an awful run of form at the moment. He's come out and said that, he's not blamed anything. He said, at the World Series when he lost to Price in an interview, he said, I was pathetic. And he went, I don't know how I managed to get a leg on the board, never mind 8. So, he is someone who will come out and be honest. I know Price has done it before. I know Adrian Lewis has done it before. People will blame other factors. But I rarely see Joe Cullen come out and blame anyone else. He always says, I was pathetic tonight or I was rubbish. And I love to see that. So I think Cullen gets through this. I think he suits set format. He's had a couple of decent runs at the Worlds. I'd say, Cullen just about though. But it's tough that one of these have got to exit at the first round.
Because it's a potential. Because that game is could be a potential final over the next coming years.
Well, since Hector won the World Cup, he hasn't really done anything, really, has he? So
typical, isn't it?
It could have gone either way. It could have gone the way of the way Johnny Clayton went, where he just kept on winning things, or it could go the John Henderson route and barely do anything, and that's what's happened ultimately. Moving on to the bottom section of this draw, and again, 2 very interesting ties. The number 8 seed Rob Cross takes on a former winner of this competition, Daryl Gurney.
Oof. Two former major winners. I think Rob Cross is going to win more majors at home, in my opinion. I think he's criminally underrated for me. And I don't know why he is underrated when we should be rating him, really, for the majors he has won. And Rob Cross is starting to step back into form as well, for me. The Rob Cross we know. Daryl Gurney, he's just an interesting one because depends where Daryl Gurney turns up. And I think Daryl Gurney can be it will be a big test for Rob Cross because Daryl Gurney's just, you don't want to get Daryl Gurney in the first round or any round, to be fair, because you just know you don't be in a tie. See, if Gurney suits, well, obviously Gurney will obviously suit this time because he won it before, but that was in front of an Irish crowd, so that could be the difference.
I don't know what Rob Cross's record is in this, or I don't know if he has a good history at the Grand Prix. I don't know.
I think it's inconsistent. But to be fair, when he was out of form of Cross, he did probably expect him to get knocked out in the early rounds, but it's a hard one, actually. I think everyone's tipping Rob Cross, to be fair. I think he's 40-1 in terms of the odds.
Yeah.
So, and he's in the good half the draw. Well, before he wants into doing Price, if that is the case. But you just never know. In that. If Price gets knocked out, which Mike won't be hoping.
Or, because Price has got a tough run to that potential quarterfinal again.
I can see why people fancy Rob Cross, and I am done off for Rob Cross in this one, though. I think he's in the better form for me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Rob Cross I don't know about Gurney. I think Daryl Gurney has got glimpses in him, but in terms of a best of 3 set, I just don't see it.
I think Daryl Gurney's past being a top 8 player now, in my opinion, top 8, top 10. But it will still be a top 32 player for me.
Yeah, for a very long time as well. I don't see that dropping. To play the winner of, do you know what? There's some really good ties. I'm going to actually call this as a potential I'm going to say tie of the round. I love the style of this game, and I'll explain why before I ask for your opinion. But you've got Ryan Searle, who absolutely loves this format. He said in a recent interview a few days ago, after the Euro Tour, he said, "I'm buzzing to go to the Grand Prix. I bloody love it." And I was like, okay, that's good. And we know Madas Razma does some weird, treble 19 hitting. So I could probably see him going on the double 19. Yeah. So I see this one being, really like a contrast of styles. I'm going to quickly put my neck on the line before I get your prediction. I'm going to go for a shock. I'm going to Madas Razma to beat Ryan Searle.
See, I understand why you. I honestly, I understand why you did. You went for that, because I don't think Ryan Searle is actually particularly in good form for me, personally. Because start of the year, he was in good form. Obviously, on the back end of the year as well, after the PA's Championship finals, he waits. But I think he's just chopped off form for me, Ryan Searle. And Madas Razma, he's now qualifying for every tournament now, to be fair.
He's qualifying, he's winning games as well.
And he's winning games as well. So I actually agree. I'm going to go for Razma as well.
Wow. I thought he was going to go Ryan Searle, but fair play. Right, because what I'm tempted on doing for the Grand Prix before we start to get confused, so I'll say it now. Every night after the Grand Prix, I will do like a review show talking about the games and giving predictions for the next game. So we won't go next round. We'll just go through all the first round predictions. And if you want to come on every night after the World Grand Prix for like 30 minutes to discuss the results of that night and then preview to the next day's for action, then you're more than welcome to.
Obviously, if I don't, I'll be at work for some days, but obviously on the weekend I'll be off, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't finish till like 10 anyway, does it? Something like 9, 10, 11. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Go on to just the first round predictions. Moving on to the second section of the draw then. And again, another mouth-watering tie. The number 4 seed, Michael Smith, drifting in and out of form against potentially a real banana skin in Nathan Aspinall. No, let's put a bit of respect on his name. Annihilated Luke Humphreys in the World Match Play in the first round. This is a tough game for Michael Smith, especially in a first round. There's players that he would prefer to play, like Daryl Gurney, Clemens, maybe even Schindler, but this is a horrible one.
Yeah, I think Aspinall is getting back to his bets as well. We saw it in the World Match Play as well. Got back to his bets. I think he reached quarterfinals, didn't he, Nathan Aspinall, at the World Match Play? Or was it semi-finals? But he did that beat off, obviously, Mike van Derwen. But yeah, to be fair, he won him close, didn't he, in that quarterfinal? Well, he almost came back. And then typical van Derwen style, he always has to be brutal, doesn't he? And take out a free for the checkout.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, this, because it depends if Michael Smith turns up. And obviously, the Michael Smith we saw recently in majors doesn't tend to get knocked out in the first round. But I think he will. I think Nathan Aspinall will win. No, but before people start, oh, you're just being biased towards him. No, I'm not. I'm being honest. After seeing recent form, if Aspinall beat a guy won in Newt Humphreys in the World Match Play, Newt Humphreys was in probably the best player in the world in terms of form. Yeah, going into that game, and Newt Humphreys stamped the pace out. Well, Nathan Aspinall absolutely dismantled him.
Yeah.
So. But obviously, Michael Smith's not in that form, same as Newt Humphreys. Michael Smith is inconsistent. So yeah, I fancy Aspinall.
Yeah, I have to disagree, unfortunately. I think Michael Smith is just going to have too much. I think in the early rounds, 90% of the time, Bully Boy has enough in round 1, round 2. Is when he gets to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and obviously final, as we know. But I do think he'll have enough against Aspinall. I just think there is inconsistency in Aspinall's game, and maybe he's going to be thinking too much about that previous major performance and thinking he can go and do it again. He can do it again, but I just think Michael Smith will close him out early in the game.
Very true. That's the thing with Aspinall, though. It's all right doing it in the World Master. He needs to do it in consistent tournaments as well, especially if he wants to move back up the PT or the merit as well.
Yeah, he's up to 16th now, which is a big move for him. Moving on to the next game then. Danny Noppert against Gabriel Clemens. Now, I'm just going to... I'll get my prediction on this quickly. I'm going to go for a 2-0 whitewash for the Freeze. I think this will be 3-0, 3-0. No disrespect to Gabriel Clemens, but I think Clemens is clinging on to a top 32 place at the moment. And with the form that Gabriel Clemens is showing, don't see there being any chance. And like I said, I'm going to go 3-0, 3-0 for Danny Noppert in this one. So Danny Noppert I've got through.
Yeah, it's just one of them games where it's a guaranteed banter for me on Danny Noppert for me. Gabriel Clemens so out of form this year. Danny Noppert, definitely a Premier League contender. Well, should be in the Premier League for me next year. He's already won one of the big majors in the UK Open. And he does love this tournament as well. He has done well here in the past. I think it's a semi-final where he lost to Durham Prix in that semi-final. And
last year, wasn't it?
And the thing with the World Qual 3 is, I think it suits players who not going to be exciting on the eye, but it'll be for the best double hitters and the best who can find the game out for me. And Danny Noppert's one of them for me. So yeah, I agree. Easy win for Danny Noppert. And this is something that kicked up now, where Gabriel Clemens does a shithouse performance, and
I was going to say, do not put a bet on Noppert to beat Clemens. Would you go as far as me and say 3-0, 3-0 in 2 sets, or do you think?
Oh yeah. I agree. I think it'd be easy work for Danny Noppert. How are you doing?
Yeah. Moving on to the last top section of the draw. Obviously, this is the bottom bit of the top half of the draw, the final players in the and some interesting ones in here. I think you look at that and, there's some very good players in form. But moving on to the number 5 seed, James Wade. Now, against Martin Lukman, who has been unbelievable this year, Smash. Is Lukman going to have enough to get rid of Wade? You just mentioned about, players who are not exciting on the eye and just will get doubles. And James Wade is probably one of the best double hitters. So does Lukman have a chance, or is this Wadey doing what Wadey does?
It's interesting because James Wade, along with Mike Van Duren and Phil Taylor, are the only ones who've won this tournament more than once. Durham Price has only won it once. Johnny Caton only won it once. Robert Thornton only won it once. And I think James Wade loves this tournament, suits this format, suits the format as well. Double in, double out. Because we know James Wade at his best. He's all about the doubles for me.
His doubles have dropped off for the last 3-4 months, haven't they? Which is
very strange to him.
Yeah.
But
normally it's a 75 average, 80% on the doubles.
But to be fair, he can be like that, but then you end up taking out a free for the checkout out whenever someone's on double.
Yeah.
That's also Wade at his best. So, and then I think this is another repeat of the World Master first round. Are we in the World Master or something? But
for Chizzy to win the tournament, interesting.
Nah, not for me. Mike knows why. But yeah, James Wade. You don't fancy Wade on this one. No, Martin Newman is a dub player, but I think Wade knows this format inside out, and he just gets the job done. James Wade. He doesn't care about Alfred Sids. He just gets the job done. And I see James Wade going all the way to the last stages for me.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a tough draw, which we'll say in a minute. John says, haven't really seen Luke Man in form in his European matches, so I think James will get through if he manages to get double 20 and double 10. Yeah, that you can just bank on that, can't you? You don't miss double 10, or you'll have 3 darts in hand. You'll probably come inside on the 20, and then 2 darts at double 10, and he probably hits it in one. To play James Wade or Martin Lukeman,
Good damn.
if you'd have said to me 6 months ago, it would be smudger straight set, an annihilation win for Ross Smith. But in the last 3-4 months, both of these players' forms have flipped. Now Andrew Gilden is in the better form, and Ross Smith has completely and utterly dropped off. He only just got into the tournament by beating Rusty.
Yeah, he beat Welby John.
Yeah.
Well, he beat Welby John Rodriguez to it.
Yeah. That was obviously the last place available. So as soon as Ross Smith got that win in the European on the Euro Tour, he secured his place and obviously completed the field. But I'm actually going to go for another shock here. Well, I don't actually know if it is a shock with the form that Andrew Gilden was in a European Tour or Euro Tour final yesterday. I'm going to go Andrew Gilden in this one.
Yeah, I agree as well. I'm not Andrew Gilden. He's burst back onto the scene this year. He had the Undertaker and WWE coming out of the coffin. Rising from the dead in terms of WWE standards. But yeah, Andrew Gilden. He's been missing for a few years, hasn't he? In terms of the PT, in other words.
Yeah.
And good to see him back. He gave Michael Smith a good run for the money in the World Mass Play. Should have won for me, Andrew Gilden. He missed darts at doubles at crucial times where he was at 9-4 up, I think it was. And then Michael Smith obviously went on to win sudden death. Well, tiebreaker, wasn't it? And I think, but yeah, Ross Smith, squad win, as he said. Despite qualifying for this tournament, I fancy Andrew Gilden will get the job done here.
Yeah, it is a tough one because he can.
But then Ross Smith is one of them players who will probably end up turning up in a major time. Not don't have won the major time, but he'll turn up in a major tournament match.
Yeah, because also he is just in the 32, so he is he wants to get into. I know obviously he's in the 32, but when you're when you're 30th to 34, you just want to get into deep into the top 32. So a decent run here. I don't think he was defending. I don't think he's defending anything from 2 years ago. I can't remember anyway.
By the way, James Wade, Andrew Gilden would be an interesting name.
That would be like a game from 15 years ago, wouldn't it? Crazy.
2007.
Absolutely crazy. Moving on to the bottom half of the draw then, and it sees the world number 2, probably the most embarrassing reign as world number 1 in darts history.
Yes.
Peter Wright takes on Kim Huybrechts, and I think if this was leg format, I think Huybrechts may have this, but Peter Wright has just got such a good history at set format, World Championship, this tournament. Again, I just see this being, comfortable win for the world number 2, just like the world number 1.
Yeah, on the head format, especially in recent form as well, I would fancy Tim Huybrechts.
Yeah.
Tim Huybrechts had a good win over brilliant win over Michael van Derwen on the tour.
Yeah.
As well. But it's just set format does it for me. I think set format probably sways it into Peter Wright's advantage. And for me, I mean, Peter Wright can easily still use the first set, and I would still fancy him to come back and win 2-1 sort of thing. I think Tim Huybrechts will be a good test for Peter Wright He's a dangerous player, Tim Hypress, for anyone. But I think Peter Wright will get through this, in my opinion.
Well, we saw it.
But obviously, if it was a head format, I'll do Tim Hypress every day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I just don't trust Peter Wright at the moment in leg form, and I feel not feel for him, but I think he could be in trouble in the Grand Slam because we see the quality of the Grand Slam groups these days, and if he gets a tough group, he might not even make it out of the group. Because we saw he was so close to not making it, out of the group last year, which had obviously Peter Wright.
Obviously, it's a big difference in form in Peter Wright's form from last year to this year in this time, like this time of the year. Last year, Peter Wright, I think he won he won the Players' Championship finals, then he won the World Championship. And he reached the Grand Slam final as well, but still good form for him.
And he won the match play as well.
So,
he said
in form, really.
He literally said in an interview, he said, "Go and put a double on me winning the match play in the World Championships." Like what? I don't know.
And he said at the Players' Championship finals, "I hate this tournament."
And then he wins it. Yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say. I was going to mention something about that game, but it's totally gone past me. Not gonna lie, Bo Greaves would probably do better than Peter Wright with the form she's in. Bo Greaves needs to consistently play on the women's series.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she's going to get put under the radar, which she really shouldn't. She's
the thing with Bo Greaves is I just don't want this overhype. Like with Emma Raducanu and tennis, sort of thing. We know what happened with Emma Raducanu in tennis. She won the US Open and she did really nothing after that, to be honest. But Bo Greaves, some player, and say absolute some player. But yes, Horsey continues that. But by the way, the media will say, but her name's not fan service.
Yeah, even Lisa Ashton. Lisa Ashton's already guaranteed a place in the World Championships because she's like $3,000 above second place.
Yeah, she's top of the World Series, the Women's Series. To be fair,
as well, she's that far ahead. She's already won it, so she's going to be in the Grand Slam, and she's also going to be in the.
I'm playing Bo Greaves. That's there.
I can't actually. Let's just have a quick side note. I know, obviously. I think she's just too far away from it. Well, actually, she's 1.8 grand off Fallon Sherrick in second. So bear in mind, Bo Greaves has played in like 6 or 7 World Series events, and she's already got $4,000 from the Women's Series.
Crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous how she's done that. We do have a very interesting comment from Az. He says, you've got to remember that Peter always turns up at this stage. That is very true, and you can't deny it. He's got such a good track record between October and January, year after year after year. Big Chizzy fan. I feel like he always gets hard first-round draws in the Grand Prix, wins them, and then loses later. And do you know what? There's so many players like that who get a horror first-round tie, and then, players around them start losing.
And the tour opens up as well.
Yeah, but they lose. Dimitri doesn't defend and money to defend because I reckon Van Gogh, no pressure. Played Price 2019, Durant 2020, Dimmy this year, Wright 2015. The problem is it's just because the unique format of this, only the first 8 players are seeded. You could be 9th in the world and play 8th and first in the world. That's how unfortunate it is. And we will see that with a future game between 2 world champions, 2 multiple world champions, we should say. So moving on to the next game then. And again, another interesting one. That's what I was going to mention about Peter Wright. Literally about this player that we're going to be talking about. He was 2-0 down against Callum Ridds in the quarterfinal, changed his dart, and then he won like 4-2, I think it was, in the World Championships. Ridiculous. But that's what I finally remembered what it was. Callum Ridds against Ratajski, the player who doesn't really get the media attention against the player who every single year, this is where he's going to get his run from a certain way model. This is where Christoph's going to do well. Can he do it this tournament?
I think it's a top damned call, to be fair. Christoph Tati looked like in sometimes that was getting his form back, and then he just went back to. Then he went back to obviously inconsistent form. Callum Ridge, I don't think he's hit the heights really this year. So far this year, because including myself, I did hype him up, saying he's going to be bottom for the top 16. He's not quite hit it yet. So, but to be fair, I think both players are inconsistent for me in terms of form. But I think Tom Ridge's done well in set format, to be fair. Well, in the World Championship. But it's Christopher Tati. He's just one. In the World Master, I predicted Christopher Tati to get knocked out in the first round, and then Stephen Bunting, and he ended up beating him. So I'm going for Christoph on this one.
Interesting. I'll say my name. Showstopper Rob says, well, Mike, which player do you think will win this? Do you mean this game or the tournament? For this game, I've gone Callum Ridds. I just think in this type of format, you need to be on the ball. And I do think that because obviously he's got the more energy, I think Callan is more hungry for it. Ratajski, well, when you're a younger player, you're hungry for it. He's done well at the match play. He's done well at the Worlds. I just think Callum Ridge deserves a real deep run at one of these, maybe a final, who knows. But I've gone Callum Ridge to beat.
It's a PC or the merit tournament as well. I know it didn't used to be, but it is now.
Yeah. As says, Clayton won this last year, didn't he? Yeah, he beat Price 5-1 in the final, which was so annoying because I'm not with Clayton winning, because if Price loses a final and it's to Clayton, I couldn't care less. I know obviously Price is my boy, but if it's to a fellow Welshman, I couldn't care whether it's Louis Williams, Richie Burnett. Oh, do you know, I'd love to see Richie Burnett. I'm waffling. He's probably one of my favourite Welsh players of all time, Richie Burnett. Love the guy. No, don't worry about that. You speak more English. You speak better English than people that are English, to be fair. Showstopper Rob, a certain chipmunk.
Mardo, that'll be a fun no.
Yeah, and a certain chipmunk. And he says, no, the tournament. Well, I think Chris knows who I'm going to pick, and I think everyone else that watches this channel is going to know who I pick. So it's pointless asking. Yeah, Clayton played unbelievable darts in the final against Price. Yeah, as I was saying, I went over my my granddad's to watch the World Grand Prix final last year. We had like a couple of drinks, we had the takeaway and stuff, thinking it's going to be a really entertaining final. And then it was like 5-1 and it ended so early. I was like, I wanted it to go 5-3, 5-4, last set decider or something like that. And it was underwhelming in terms of the competitiveness. The final was good, but Price was woeful in that final. Yes, Clayton was excellent, but Price couldn't hit one of the legs. I think Clayton was on like 56 or something, and Price was on 400 and something because he couldn't get off the mark. Who do you think will win this, and what do you think it will affect other tournaments, and what will it affect? Oh, the rankings, I'll go through that like on each day, each game when I do the watch-alongs of what effect it can have on their rankings. It could actually affect the back end of the year if certain players were to go on a deep run here, to be fair. As says, I'm going to say Peter Wright to win the whole tournament, but Noppert or Cullen could surprise a few. You went Ratajski, I went for Callan Ridds. Moving on to last year's winner and two players.
What a damn.
Two players that have been in the final in the last 2 years of this tournament. The Ferret and the reigning champion, Johnny Clayton, world number 7. against Dirk van Dijvenbode, world ranked number 13. Absolute.
Will it be lucky number 13?
Or my lucky number is 7, so it might be that. But this is a tasty game, isn't it? Two different styles. You got the explosive Dirk van Dijvenbode and sometimes the more relaxed Johnny Clayton. But Johnny Clayton can add a bit of spice into games. But this is a good first round tie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like both of these are heavily fancied to do on a one in this tournament as well. Suits both of them as well. From obviously recent years. This is where I'll probably I can't sit on the fence on this one where I do have to pick someone. I do have to pick someone to win. People are saying Dirk. This is probably Dirk's time to win a major. Not for me. I still question his mindset. Yeah, don't into certain games, especially the final against Darren Price he played. Because I thought Darren Price had the mindset, Dirk didn't. But that was like a learning lesson, to be fair. And the recent World Series when they played each other as well, when Dirk should have really won that on his floor. And Darren Price said after the match, after he beat him, it just shows I just had the composer. And they are the levels for me. They're the levels between Price and Dirk. Price a phenomenal major winner consistently. And Dirk is probably in the bridesmaid, probably heading into the bridesmaid category with Dave Chisnell and Michael Smith. But as for this game, I think Johnny Clayton will want to do this. Will want to have the urgency. He's defending the title as well.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to go out on a whimper in the first round either. So.
And Johnny Clayton's mentality, he won't want to lose it at all. Never mind against Dirk, who Dirk has beat him recently, so that's going to play on his mind as well.
I do fancy, I'm going to edge towards Clayton.
Yeah, I'm going to go Clayton as well. Let's read a few more comments. Showstopper says Dirk van Dijvenbode is steaming into the top 10. Watch my words. I would actually say he's close to it, but as I've mentioned myself there, I said Dirk is defending 50 grand here, which is a lot of money. And obviously,
and there'll be massive pressure on Dirk as well.
Yeah, exactly. MC says Clayton wins the game, I think. As says on form, Clayton will win, but Dirk is much capable of beating him. If Clayton does bad in this, will he drop out of the Premier League contention? And as MC says, Clayton gets Premier League no matter what. Same way I think Anderson always seems to. No comment. Noppert really should be. Noppert really should be won the UK Open, but probably won't.
Yeah.
I think that's criminal. Because there's been 2 majors so far, the UK Open and the World Match Play, and he's technically won 50% of the majors this season. So I know obviously there's this to come, the Grand Slam, the Players, and the Worlds, but surely Noppert has got to be in there. Moving on to the next game then, and I'm going to go for a shock. We have a few fans of both of these in the chat. Dirk van Dijvenbode, Dimitri Vandenberg, unseeded,
and me as well.
This unseeded for this tournament. Obviously, I know he is in the top 16, but obviously top 8 only seeded against the 1 day waiting since a title after waiting 1,096 days to win a PDC title. Dave Chisnell beat Andrew Gilden in Belgium yesterday to get his drought of not winning anything for 1,000 or nearly 1,100 days. I'm going Chizzy. I just think he reached the semi-finals or the final in 2019. I think no,
semi-finals, and he's defending that as well.
No, he would have defended what he had 2020, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But semi-finals 2019, semi-finals of the Worlds in recent years. Dimitri is massively, massively out of form. But to play devil's advocate, Dimitri is a stage player. He could easily rock up and win this tournament. He is that inconsistent that on the Euro Tour he could go out in a whimper. But he could easily go and win this, or win the match play, or which he has done, or win the Grand Slam. So it's a tough one to call. But because this is just so quickly after yesterday, I'm going to go Chizzy. I'm actually backing him, so don't fucking let me down, Chizzy.
Yeah, that's a risk with the predicting on the prize made, isn't it? Chizzy has good record as well against Van den Berg in past meetings.
This analogy is like you. This is something you would say.
One day, I think.
Hey, you've actually got one of the analogies of the chat, Rob. Fair play, but yeah, I do agree. 1 minute he's class, and then the next minute he just capitulates. But yeah, carry on. Sorry about that.
He's got a good record against Van den Berg in terms of majors. He's beaten him in a World Championship Classic, where
yes,
it was the same year. It was the same year he absolutely destroyed Van Duren afterwards as well in the quarterfinals. Then stamped the pace out against Dali Anderson, who seems to love the World Championship. And but yeah, I'm done for. Yeah, I agree. I'm done for Chizzy as well.
Yeah,
He's in a better form for me, and he suits this format as well. He's always had a good. He's reached the final before here as well. Then Phil Taylor. I can't remember which year, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Was it 2015?
Oh, maybe not Phil Taylor. Or was it Phil Taylor? It might have been Van Duren actually. It was definitely Dennis Taylor or Van Duren in the final. Chizzy had a 1 to it. But even so, he has this time, doesn't he, Chizzy? And he probably, again, he suits a set format.
Yeah, I'd say Chizzy, like I said. Moving on to, wow, we have got probably, no.
I don't hate predicting this game, honestly.
On paper, it's an absolute classic. We saw in the World Championships that because of the way the seedings are working, that Gary Anderson played Adrian Lewis in the second round of the World Championships. We're going to see a lot more of these where Gary Anderson is unseeded for tournaments and taking on the likes of Van Gogh and the likes of, Clayton, people like this. But what first round tie? And this has got to be last game on, or, third game on an evening session. But, a 3-time world champion winner against a 2-time world champion winner, absolute hundreds of titles between them. Surely on paper and on form, it's got to be Van Gogh, but there's just something about Gary that you just cannot predict. I'll let you try and predict it first whilst I try and articulate what I want to say.
Gary Anderson, if it was a 90, Gary Anderson in darts is like Southampton in football. They ruin your bloody betting accumulator. Oh. I'll be right back.
Right, no worries. Right, as Chris is going to sort something out, get your comments in on this one. And then obviously when he returns, we'll ask him for his prediction. I'm not going to give my prediction because I'm not too sure. But when you look at it on paper, Rob says he's looking forward to this one. I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this one. It's got to be third on an evening session, like I mentioned, because that is going to be box office. That I don't know if you agree, Chris, but this has got to be 9 o'clock box office on an evening session, because in Leicester it will be absolutely rocking by 8, 9 o'clock. So you've got to get this one on third. If it was on first game, it'd be a bit underwhelming. But yeah, I was just filling a gap whilst you were gone for a second then. So, yeah, carry on with what you were saying.
But yeah, like I said, when I made that analogy up, and it's like you can't bet against Darry Anderson really in any tournament. It's like betting him in this match as well. Even though you go for Van Derwen, I am down for Van Derwen, by the way, to win, because he is back to his bets this year, and I think he's won all of the Sky Sports majors so far as well, which is remarkable. But it's Darry Anderson, where it is Darry Anderson. This wouldn't shock you where if he overturned Van Derwen.
Yeah, do you agree with Rob's comment that the longer the game goes on, you could see Gary Anderson starting to frustrate Van Gerwen?
Yeah, I agree. If it does, Mike Van Derwen will want to get the job done early. Like, try and get it done early, because if it does, that's it, etc. I think that suits Darry for me. Suits Darry Anderson.
Yeah, as we're talking about a Scottish player, no, I'm not linking Chris to Scotland, even though he pretty much is Scottish. We are welcoming Doug. Thank you for tuning in, Doug. Afternoon to yourself. He's probably going to leave straight away there. We mentioned a Scot is getting knocked out, but hope you're well, Doug. And yeah, hope you're well. Rob says Van Gerwen always got a gear more. That's the difference. Like, if it gets tight, Van Gerwen could easily, hit a 170 in a crucial leg, or so. That's the difference. You look at, I'd probably say there's only 3 players in the world that can do that. I know Clayton and play it like Michael Smith, Wade, they can do it, but for me, you've got Peter Wright, Gerwyn Price, Michael Van Gerwen that in a game can just hit something ridiculous to get them straight back into it, and I think that's
and
what
they can win. They can win eight or so heads on the square, and it's game over.
Yeah, like you could be like I was watching Sky Darts Gold a few weeks back, and it was Michael Van Gerwen, not Michael Van Gerwen. Who was it? No, yeah, it was Michael Van Gerwen against Darren Webster in the Players' Championships. Darren Webster was 1 leg away from victory, and Michael Van Gerwen were 9 legs on the spin to beat him. And it's just like that's the quality those 3 have. And it's going to take a lot. It's like Messi and Ronaldo in football. It's going to take a lot for someone to be able to play at that level consistently for what those 2 have before. So yeah, and that's what I said. That's what's going to get these, because I think Price's game is tough against Schindler. I think Peter Wright's game against Kim Huybrechts is tough, and I think Van Gerwen's game against Anderson is also tough. But they've just got that extra bit of edge about them,
and that's why they are the best 3 players in the world.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
They might not be 100% in form, but on any given day they can show you exactly why they're world class.
Same in tennis as well. Djokovic, Nadal, Federer.
Yeah. Like I think going away from darts a minute. In I think it was Wimbledon. I think I can't remember who said it. It might have been. I can't remember, but one of the pundits said that it's taken Stan Wawrinka and Andy Murray, to play 120% to get anywhere near Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal, and that's what's going to take Michael Smith, Clayton, Wade, the ones that are the close ones. Showstopper Rob says Van Gerwen, nickname over here in the Netherlands, we call him the Green, wrecking. Well, he's wrecking the PDC calendar at the moment, isn't he, with the amount of things he's picking up. Moving on to the next game then. Now,
oh, God.
I spoke to our mates earlier when the draw got announced, and we were just having a little discussion about ties of the round, and we both agreed that this is, I hate to say it, but as fans and as pundits or commentators or predicting stuff, you're always gonna do it. I think this is the worst of the first round draws. Brandon Dolan and Stephen Bunting.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, Brandon Dolan is still living off the past with his nickname, because this is obviously the famous event that magical event happened. So
Yeah, don't get me started on that. The history maker. Well, Demon Stan, Demon Stanley made history by running off the fucking stage.
Oh, the fact they didn't even win that game as well. That was Van der Voort, wasn't it? He hit that 9 down.
And I loved Vincent van der Voort's reaction when he beaten him as well. It's just like shook his hand and just walked off.
Yeah, I tell you what. I know obviously we're going a bit off topic, but that's a player that's missing in this tournament that I think a lot of people are going to miss is Vincent van der Voort.
Yeah, definitely.
Good player, really good player. But
yeah, I think I will go for Brendan Doyle in this game. It's not gonna be an easy watch for me. But both players have had tournament ones here. Stephen Bunting had a one here. I think it was last year. Where he reached the semi-finals.
Yeah, lost
it. So then he's one of them players that frustrates you. He's like a one tournament wonder. He always seems to have a one in one tournament from out of nowhere. But I think Brendan Doran's the better player personally. Ooh. Despite both of them being out of form for me. It's gonna be a scruffy game, man. Scruffy game. Brendan Doran to win for me.
Yeah, Rob says, I'm glad Brendan is playing a bit fast. He was throwing as slow as a snail. Yeah, he has paced up a bit. I'm going to go on the complete opposite side. Stephen Bunting, I think, again, he's a bit like Gurney. He's a bit like Chisnell. You'll probably will get past this first round tie and then probably just dismantle against Van Gerwen. But he's actually got a decent record against Van Gerwen, you know, doesn't always get annihilated by him, and sometimes he puts up a good fight. So I'm going to go I'm going to go Stephen Bunting, to win this one.
And Bunting's still in the round, near the top 16 as well. I think he's in 20 odd now in the PG odd merit. Can't remember.
Bunting 20th, yeah, 20th.
So he's still hanging in there to be fair.
Yeah. Moving on to the penultimate section of the draw, the sixth
seed. This
be
interesting.
Sixth seed Jose de Souza takes on Adrian Lewis. Now Jose is in a big heap of trouble. He's got so much money to come off his ranking when he plays in the Grand Slam of Darts in in like a month's time, I think it is, against Adrian Lewis, who, hear me out, yourself and people in the chat, is starting to play some really nice stuff and is starting to really not just play nice stuff, but getting rewards for it now, winning on the Pro Tour, doing well on the Euro Tour. I'm starting to see a bit of a resurgence, nowhere near to what he could do, but I still think he's a top 16 player, AD, and maybe this can help him kick on. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been saying for years, is this finally the year for him?
Sorry to cut you off. I will agree with you, MC. Those Dimitri darts with the new sponsorship, unbelievably bad, terrible.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Absolutely crap.
No wonder he's out of form.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said over the years that when 18 years on that downfall, I said, but we always still expected him. It's remarkable he still has the talent. He's still young as well. I mean, it's ridiculous. 18 years still young for his age. Like,
he looks about 70.
He looks about 70 and he's only 30 odd, I think.
To be fair, he has sort of trimmed down a bit and he starts, 37.
Which is still young in darts, to be fair, if you consider Phil Taylor.
We've seen that, if you can trim yourself down a bit, be a bit more of an athlete in the sport, like Luke Humphries has done, then you can.
He had mental health problems as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally still say he can get into the top 16. Not obviously in a year, but in a couple of years, I think if he gets some deep runs, wins more Pro Tours, which he's more than capable of doing, before he was even winning, games and winning that Pro Tour, he was still averaging 105 in games and dismantling some very good players. It was just when he got to a semi-final of the Pro Tour, he just not his average. His average was staying at 100. He just couldn't close a game out. He's still a fantastic player. Whatever you say about, with his antics, he's still an unbelievable player.
UFC fighter.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I don't think this might not even be a shock to some people. I'm going to go for Adrian Lewis to win.
It's not a shock to me either, because I'm going to go for the exact same. I think I really worry for Jose. Really do.
I know it's crazy because start of the year he was like number 7 or number 8, but he's moved up one. But that's only down to obviously other players that knocked out early in tournaments, and obviously defending money as well.
Yeah. Other people are defending money because 2020 he only really come alive from the Grand Slam, didn't he? And even at the World Championships, he got annihilated by Mervyn King. From the Grand Slam. But by the way, again, another player who
he's not qualified.
It just feels weird not to see Mervyn King in, but it is what it is.
He'll be at the World Championship. He'll be the first one there, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, he turns up at like 5, 6 o'clock, don't he, on his motorbike? Quality guy. And he's a postman. What a man. Rob says Jose. MC says Jose as well. He says he's finding form again, I think, and Lewis always promises and then never delivers. I think he gets to the quarterfinals and loses to Anderson. Oh, you mean Jose gets to the quarterfinals and loses to
that was unpretty.
No, I'm going to stick with my gun. I'm going to go Adrian Lewis for this one. Moving on to the final game of round 1, then sees a battle of two just can't get past it in terms of. Obviously, Luke Humphries has got to finals. He's won Euro Tours, won Pro Tours, but Luke Humphries' form from that game against Nathan Aspinall has dipped massively. This could be a really exciting one. And look at this section of the draw: Jose, Adrian Lewis, Chris Dobey, and Luke Humphries. It is vying for someone to have a deep run to the quarters. And when you get to the quarters, after you build a couple of results together, it looks good. So this is an interesting section of the draw.
Yeah, Chris Dobey is more underachieving than Luke Humphries over the years for me. In my opinion, in the words.
Fair play, Rob. Played against Raymond van Barneveld and Scholten in the 80s. Fair play.
Mads and them, they'll be pretty. I think they'll be pretty teenagers, man. And but yeah, like I said, I think Chris Dobey's underachieved over the years. We've always expected him to do a little bit more in terms of PTO than merit, get himself up there. Luke Humphries, still a bit early to judge on him. He still start the year, like you said, on top form. Then it just seems to be first half the form on top form. It's like in year 2. Like, I mean, I will say it. Barrow fans won't like it, but it's like Barrow first half the season they will be like near the top, but trust me, second half the season they could end up in some really bottom half. So that's what like Luke Humphries is like for me.
Yeah.
I do think Humphries is the better player though for me. And
in terms of Luke Humphries, do you think that when he was in that ridiculous form, do you think he? And obviously the match play was when he was in form, but when he was in that ridiculous form like May, June, do you think he was begging for a major to come in May? Because that May form, I think he lost 2 games in the entirety of May, which was ridiculous. And he didn't have a major to play in to go and probably win. And the match play come July, he was starting to lose the form a bit. He wasn't averaging the 106, 107 that he was doing regularly. I think that he maybe missed an opportunity with a match play. If it was 2-3 weeks earlier, I think he wins that match play. Well, I predicted him to get to the final and lose to.
Well, I made a mistake as well with that. Pretty predicting.
He's going to win it.
Yeah. I said he will. Yeah, I said he will win it against the ultimate prize made in the final, Michael Smith. And no, actually, we both done for this. We went both for the same final, but you went for Smith to win. I went for Humphreys to win.
Yeah, I said Price will lose to Michael Smith in the semi-finals.
But yeah, I'm not doing that same mistake again.
Please don't.
But yeah. Back to what we know. Get back to what we know at the start of each tournament, sort of thing. But yeah, I think even if both of them on bad form and not really outson what they can, I still fancy Humphreys more for Derby.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? I think this will come down to big moments. I think he'll be tight for 90% of the game, and the odd 10% of those big moments. Who can hit a 180 in a big moment, in a big time of the match, or who can take out a big shot to force pressure onto the other one. And for both of those questions, the answer is the exact same, and it's Luke Humphreys. And I know obviously he's not seeded for this, but he is 11th in the world. Just having a quick look at he's not defending anything at the. Well, actually, let me just quickly check, because
he should be aiming for. He should actually be aiming for the semi-final in the bottom half of the tour.
He's not defending nothing from the Grand Prix from 2 years ago. So anything he gets could really attack, and he's only looking at a gap of 29 grand between him and the top 8. So a run at this, and you could be looking at 6th in the world, 7th in the world, something like that.
And he's got a chance at the Premier League because Rob Cross has already said he doesn't want to play in the Premier League if he gets invited.
Who is that, Rob Cross?
Yeah, Rob Cross, he's now starting to say he's not really interested now in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's just so much travelling for so little reward. Like 1 minute you could be in Brighton, then you've got a Euro Tour in Germany, then you're back to not Leicester, then you're back to Nottingham, for example, and then you could be back over in Belgium. It's just so much. That's why
By the way, I absolutely agree with Rob Cross. I don't blame him.
Yeah, 100% agree. Right, I'll tell you what I will do. Let's just quickly have a look at, because we saw a comment from MC saying night one is incredible. There's 4 or 5 really good games. Let's just have
a quick in a minute.
Yeah, no worries. Let's just have a quick glance at the schedule ahead of the tournament. So I know obviously we're going to do a review every day, but let's just have a quick look at this. So Monday, the 3rd of October, for the start of the tournament, I'm presuming there's going to be a afternoon and evening session because they can't fit all of them 8 in one session. So Callan Ridge, Christoph Ratajski opens up the tournament. Again, I could probably see why they've done that, to be honest. Brendan Dolan, Stephen Bunting to follow on from there. Chris Dobie, Luke Humphreys, Dimitri Vandenberg, Dave Chisnell. Those are the afternoon games, I believe. Clarify in the chat, please, chat, if it's afternoon and evening. Because I think it is afternoon and evening. So if that's the case, that'll be the 4 afternoon games. And then the evening sees Johnny Clayton take on Dirk van Dijvenmuller, Peter Wright against Kim Huybrechts, Michael van Gerwen against Gary Anderson, Jose de Souza versus Adrian Lewis. On the Tuesday, the afternoon. Well, I'm not too sure because I don't think they'll be able to fit 8 games in an evening session. Well, if that is the case, then I'll clarify my point. So Tuesday sees Matters Rasmussen take on Searle, Smith, Gilding, Noppert, Clemens, Cullen, Hetter, Cross, Gurney, and then you've got 3 good games to end the day session. Wade, Lukeman, Price, Schindler, Smith, Aspinall, and then obviously on the Wednesday there'll be 4 round 2 matches. on the Thursday, we'll have 4 round 2 matches. The Friday will be 4 quarterfinals, or the 4 quarterfinals, sorry. Saturday evening will be the 2 semi-finals, with the Sunday, the showpiece event, being the final. So yeah, I remember now. It is all in one night. Yeah. So those are the form or schedules for the all of the days ahead of the World Grand Prix. I remember now. It is because it's only first to 2 sets, isn't it? So it's not going to be long because it's first to 6. Right, I'll just go through the schedule again so you can see it. So all 8 games on a session. So the day 1 session sees Callan Ridds open up against Ratajski. Then you've got Brendan Dolan up against Stephen Bunting. Chris Dobie takes on Luke Humphreys. Then Dimitri van den Berg Chisnall. Johnny Clayton, Dirk van Dijvenbode, Peter Wright, Kim Huybrechts. Told you, Michael van Gerwen, Gary Anderson, that is the perfect time to have it. After Clayton and Peter Wright, bang, there you go, Michael van Gerwen, Gary Anderson. And by the way, Sky will probably do a promo all evening for that Michael van Gerwen, Gary Anderson game. And then Jose against Adrian Lewis. In terms of night 1, would you agree with that sort of format of the scheduling? Would you switch any games around potentially?
Well, I think, to be fair, I think they've pretty hit the nail on the head with night 1. They've got probably all the best matches on opening night, to be fair.
Yeah, and to be fair, they've put the games that you'd argue are the weaker ones at the start of the night. Callan Ridds, Ratajski,
and I'm done be at work, so thanks for that.
at least you get you get to watch you'll probably be home for the
Oh yeah, I'll be home for Van Der and Anderson. Well, even before that, to be fair.
Rob says he would switch the last 2, so he would have Van Gogh and Anderson as the final game. The problem is, like, a lot of people could be
Adrian Lewis is still a big name, isn't he? Still a big name, to be fair.
He's still a 2-time world champion, back-to-back world champion, sorry. Chisnall, Van den Berg should swap with Lewis D'Souza probably, and Humphreys, Dobie first. Wow. No, you always see...
I think they've got that right, in my opinion.
I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, or if you have noticed this. Ratajski or Bunting always seem to be first couple of games of a tournament. They seem to always kick a tournament off. Ratajski or Bunting. It's just, or Mervyn King. One of those 3. Probably because they're boring-ish players to watch, but it's a bit rude. But, it is what it is. And then night 2 sees the rest of the last 16 ties. Madders Rasmussen kicks off against Ryan Searle. Then Ross Smith against Andrew Gilding. Danny Noppert takes on Gabriel Clemens. Joe Cullen, Damon Hetta. Rob Cross, Daryl Gurney. James Wade, Martin Lukeman. Gerwin Price, Martin Schindler. And then Michael Smith, Nathan Aspinall.
Imagine on night 1, if they switched Michael Smith and Nathan Aspinall and Joe Cullen, Damon Hetta and put them 2 on night 1 instead of time with Ritazzi and all that. Wow.
And then Dolan Bunting. But then again, I know that would be unbelievable for one night of action, but then the Leicester crowd would be like, what the hell? Why have we got no...
True as well, because the crowd still want to see something on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, but would you swap any from that one, or do you think the format of the way they've put that is probably, get you going with Searle towards the end of the night with Wade, Price, Smith?
No, I think that's probably in the right order for the schedule for me.
MC says swap Wade Lukeman with Cross. Yeah, maybe Gurney towards Cross Gurney towards the end of the night.
I don't know. I think that's only one off, to be fair.
Do you know what? I would agree. No, I'd agree with that. I would prefer Price being last on, because I think Michael Smith Aspinall is a better game. Like, in terms of both players, I do think Price, is probably one of the favourites, so they're going to have him on that prime time area of the night. But in terms of a game, Michael Smith versus Nathan Aspinall is a better game than Gerwin Price, Matt, and Schindler. So that probably should be on 7th in the night rather than 8th. And then one of the last comments, Rob says, well, they have to sell tickets. That's also the point. Yeah, you can understand it, and it's pretty obvious. Right, let's have a quick look at the poll before I end the poll. So I did say at the start, Grand Prix winner, ? Gerwin Price, Michael Van Gerwen, Peter Wright were the 3 options. And also, I put other for people to let me know in the chat. We've had Cullen as a name. We've had Chisnell as a name. We've had Noppert as a name. We've had, there was someone else as well, D'Souza as a name. So a few outside names.
Someone said Dirk as well.
Dirk, yeah, that was another one, yeah. But in terms, and other actually won the poll. So out of the poll, 32% said other. We'll go in order from next. 19% said Peter Wright would collect the trophy. 19% also said Michael Van Gerwen will pick up the trophy. And losing by a few percentages, 29% say that the world number 1, Gerwin Price, will pick up the Grand Prix trophy. So before we let you go, Chris, let everyone know where obviously they can find your channel and your stuff, and obviously there's going to be a World Grand Prix prediction on your channel tomorrow. So just let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, just find me on YouTube, where I do all sorts these days. A lot of content, including boxing, but I'm not allowed to criticise. Not allowed to criticise professional boxers, by the way. Before the debts, North mentality going on.
Right, I have put your link in the chat. I have put your link to the channel, to your channel in the chat. So
and also, yeah, dot past 200 as well.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. So do go over to Chris and drop him a carry on with what we can expect to see on your channel coming up.
Obviously, FIFA 3 mod be back tomorrow.
Getting that today. So as soon as I end this stream, I'm going to buy it.
A midnight stream from Mike then.
No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. That's stupid.
But yeah, big Harlow 3 mod tomorrow. Can't wait to see all the mod sons waiting. It'll probably be 54 waiting, non-FIFA.
Yeah, Nathan is 54.
But yeah, that's going to be F1 3 mod and FIFA 3 mod every day. Well, until I save that finale for the F1 3 mod, which I'll be live for. And obviously you've got Hill, Carlo, F1, Boston. And the darts content will be back after 2 to 3 months off.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the darts fans. They'll be thinking, is he all right? Has he done off darts for some reason?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I love the sport. I absolutely love the sport. But anyway, thanks for coming on. In terms of what's coming up on this channel, obviously League 2 and Newport content over the next few days. Throughout the season, sorry. If you didn't check out the vlog from yesterday for Wales-Poland, it was an unbelievable away atmosphere from the Polish fans. Just under a couple of thousand inside the Cardiff City Stadium. They had flares constantly. They were setting fireworks off. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I just don't get Wales. I just don't. I'm not really a big fan of Wales' chant at the end with the wata wata wherever it hits.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that.
Oh dear.
Anyway, Iron Force returns to the chat. Hope you're doing well. Long time no see, my friend. Anyway, so yeah, obviously League 2 Newport content, FIFA career mode starts tomorrow. I'm going to be working on my Newport County FIFA career mode intro, which I'm going to make. In terms, I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to do like a little like over speaking of it. So I'm going to do like saying, been stuck in League 2 for 10 seasons. Hopefully this is the year that Mike Green can guide Newport out of League 2 at the first time of asking his, first managerial job. I'm going to make a whole thing for it. So,
by the way, you can actually use Minders now, wheel Minders.
Yeah.
Right. So Paul Simpson is of course staying as title manager.
Ted Lasso.
Oh dear, don't get me started on that.
That's stupid. I know the reason to it, but anyway, without the waffling, like I said, World Grand Prix watch along return, or darts watch alongs returns on Monday for day one of the World Grand Prix. So I know everyone's been saying, where is it? When's it going to return? It is returning on Monday. Darts watch alongs are back. I don't know what time it will be starting. I think maybe 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. So
No, it'd be 7. It was 6 p.m. on COVID, but I think it'd be now back to 7.
Yeah, so whatever time it is anyway, whether it's 6 or 7, we will be live for it. So thanks for watching this 2022 Grand Prix first round predictions. Like I said, we'll be live 5-10 minutes after every day's action at the Grand Prix, discussing the night's action, previewing the next day. So
Good idea, that, to be fair.
I'm going to think of a name to actually call it, not just day review. I'm going to try and think of something, because there's another channel, Online Darts, who they do something similar, the Fallout Bar. So I'm going to try and sort of create a different name for something like that. Looking like I'll need to make time for reviewing this. Blessed. Hopefully all well with you. Yeah, all well.
I'm just my usual self as always.
I knew they would say that. But like I said, thanks for watching, guys. If you're watching this on playback, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to Chris's channel, which is in the chat one more time. So do subscribe to his channel, subscribe to mine, and we will speak to you very, very shortly. I'm looking forward to the Grand Prix now.